What up, YouTube? We're just getting started. This is the last one we doing here, y'all. Letting you guys tap in to see how we talk, how we get down in first gen Deca. Wealth building, tribe, community, like-mindedness is how we think. Cultivating good makers of money. Letting a few more people tap in. Yeah. So here we go in a little bit here. As soon as we get quorum, YouTube, this is going to be the last of the three when it comes to first gen Deca, our private wealth group training weekly that we have. Business and financial strategies is what we focus on. That's what it means by good makers of money. Everybody's situation is different though, so and I thank you for tapping in. We about to get in some good work here, some good building for the next 45 minutes at least. So for my smokers, roll up. For my sippers, pull up. Get your notepads and your pens. Again, thank you for tapping into the YouTube live. Novell Vision. I am a filmmaker, but I'm also a board member. I'm also a serial entrepreneur. So what we like to do is teach people different strategies that we're learning throughout commerce, considering where we are economically at the moment as well, and how we should start to facilitate our businesses as entrepreneurs. So we about to get going here shortly. Thanks for tapping in. I gotta get at least 3 blunts in first. And shout out to Flood Music Guild, Mojo Forbes, Water the One. Go check them out. I think they're streaming everywhere on all the streaming platforms, Spotify, all that. Steady Fetty Productions, Melvis Freshly streaming. Go check them out. Them's B's the people. We about to go and get some work in. So hopefully by the time you start tagging in YouTube, you might have some questions that could be surfaced here during the meeting that could get answered. So share it. We're talking about that aspect of getting to the bag.
Progress.
Yo, peace family, FRSTGEN, Deca. Peace to everybody. About to get in this work real quick. About to share the screen. And we got some action. So again, Wealth Wednesdays. FRSTGEN Deca, we're meeting here. We do this every Wednesday where we come through so we can cultivate good makers of money. Parental advisory is definitely suggested. So if you got some little ones, every now and again my potty mouth might drop, but it's okay because I'll bring it in. So FRSTGEN Deca, cultivating good makers of money. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Sun Tzu. We're going to recap again our agenda. One of the things that we do, remember, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to tell you what I told you. Bring that back. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to tell you what I told you. All right? Let's keep it simple with it. So, week 32 recapping our terms and concepts. The beginning of wisdom is the defining the terms. Mastering our 5 key moves. YouTube, we always talk about our 5 key moves that we're mastering as we go about expanding our financial literacy and business literacy so we can make more strategic and more impactful moves in this particular scamdemic era. It's time to get up on our own paper, become the merchants that we are, that we've always been. But moving on. We're going to talk about the REIT versus the E-REIT. And for YouTube, REIT is R-E-I-T, Real Estate Investment Trust, versus the E-REIT. And the E-REIT is just a new, or not a new, I guess you could say, because of the expansion of e-commerce, e-commerce, REIT. The Real Estate Investment Trust would be within commerce. When you go digital into the blockchain, especially, you start talking about e-commerce and then e-REIT. So we're going to talk about what the differences are with that tonight. So filling out the rest of that particular statement from earlier, strategies without taxes is the slowest route to victory. Then tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. And again, that's Sun Tzu from The Art of War. And we're going to talk about the difference of that tonight as well, strategies and tactics. So thinking outside the loop, in tough times, innovation gains traction. We're definitely moving into tough times with regulations and policies that are going to start affecting us a bit more rambunctiously throughout the rest of the year, especially when you're talking about certain regulations that are not going to be passed so that they can artificially create the recession that doesn't really have to happen. But we're going to see some clips on that here later tonight. So case law, IRS revenue rulings and their statutes and codes, this is what we bring to them so that it may not return void unto us, okay? The rules of the game is to mirror it back to your opponent, but you can't mirror the game and get remedy for any type of liability that has been imposed upon you if you don't know what your rights are. If you don't know what your rights are, you don't have any. Simple as that. So your level of jurisprudence dictates the status of your jurisdiction. Vism. Your level of jurisprudence dictates the status of your jurisdiction. Jurisprudence, juris, legal, prudence, knowledge. So your legal knowledge dictates the status in all capital letters of your jurisdiction. Juris, legal, diction, speech. So your legal knowledge dictates your status in your legal speech. So if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. Understand the difference between a natural person, right, and an artificial person. But we're not going to go deep into that right now. We want to get to the bag, to the money, creating the legacy. So 2 types of families, the informed family and the uninformed family. The 2 types of families, the informed family and the uninformed family. We're doing these type of broadcasts live. This is the 3rd one on YouTube. This is I believe the 33rd one for FRSTGEN Deca. And every week it's a regurgitation of the last with an addition of a few things so that we can expand our knowledge, expand our base, because the more information we have, the more data, the more knowledge we have access to, the better or the greater propensity we have to be able to monetize said information. So we truly want to be in the informed section, not the uninformed section. So for those that understand status and standing, we want to do our best to become unalienable. The only way you become unalienable is when you come out of her, my people, through a state, claiming it, yours, trust, foreign trust. Domestic trust is cool. Remember, there's over 80 different types of trust. So we look at foreign trusts, specifically ones that will have an affixation or affiliation with the 98 number. And remember the number following the dash, 6 or 7, 98-6, 98-7. You're talking about a trust, the state, nonprofit organization and such. So the 98 number allows you to push your assets, okay, into a trust, to be held in trust. That is outside of the jurisdiction of the United States. However, none of these assets have your name on it. That is the point of becoming unalienable. So status and standing to where you become unalienable, and in the Constitution it talks about being inalienable, inalienable rights. We like to say unalienable. So we just make it up. Hell, they make shit up anyway. But anyways, the deprivation of rights under color of law, Title 18, United States Code, subsection 241 and 242. This is about 98% of all of the violations that take place unconstitutionally happen under the color of law. However, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. And again, FRSTGEN Deca, when these slides are up, whenever you see them, you can see that wise uncle right there. Tap in. Tap in with the wise uncle so you can see that particular situation. And the Past No Sin trilogy. I think I'm gonna put the link to this in the description of the YouTube joint when we when it's done posting, what have you. So YouTube can tap in with it when it comes to gaining your getting your passport without your social. And there's levels to it, especially when you start talking about the diplomatic immunity and such. But again, there's levels to that. Just want to let this be the platform for airing out awareness about this subject matter. Okay, the more you know, the more propensity you have to monetize that knowledge, okay, through your experience. And this is what FRSTGEN Deca members and what we try to do is bring that out of each other, creating the DBA with your gifts and your talents. Everybody was born with something that they could give to the world, that someone would buy. It might not be in your city, but it definitely could be somewhere on the internet, e-commerce. So terms and conditions, terms and concepts. The beginning of wisdom is the defining of terms. The principal idea is we know law has 2 different applications off top. Land, air, water, law. Land, air, water. Length and width, okay? Measurements and measurements and weights. That's why the birth certificate was created. It has your measurements and your weight on there. But your body is of the earth, and to the earth it shall return, right? So the minerals of land, you're made up of water, and you breathe air. oxygen, right? So all of these things is when they say in God we trust on the currency, it's actually saying you are God that they're referring to, the creditors, okay? So remember parents patria or parents patre, what that is referring to when it comes to citizens not being able to protect themselves is their assumption. This is how they create minimum contact for sufficient jurisdiction, right? We know what they do, and when they create the minimum contact, what they're doing is they're creating the lien, okay? And they holding you until a debt that by that person is discharged. And remember, YouTube, go to Matthew 5:25. Go to Matthew 5:25, YouTube, and then you'll see what that's talking about when it comes to agreeing with thine adversary on the way to court. This is why we talk about this, because all roads lead to court. First generation millionaires moving into the 21st century, the blockchain era, actually really need to know this, because if you could look at a lot of the regulations that's passing down from Congress, a lot of the U.S. citizens' rights are going away right now as we watch. It's happening, all right? So go to Matthew 5:25. You're talking about how you can become alienable, okay? The administrative process. Write your request down on tablets, make them plain, and give it to a herald that they may run with it. You should be able to take your truth, put it on a piece of paper, title it as an affidavit, right? And that affidavit with your truth unrebutted in 30 days becomes law, or truth in commerce, right? So the administrative process with certified mail, registered mail, the postal service is your court of record. This is also where we do the conditional acceptances when it comes to the different offers that might come to your letterbox or your mailbox from different entities, agencies of the government. You conditionally accept. Because if you don't, they're going to say you acquiesce, and then they're going to find a way to create a minimum contact where they're going to presume and assume, the presumption and assumption of law. And they get you in court to creatively, tacitly admit as a citizen, person, resident through hearsay. Is how they get us hemmed up every time. But our remedy is within the General Services Administration, the GSA. When we go to the bond derivative set of the bid bond, performance bond, payment bond, better known as the SF 242525A. Now, when you step up to the big boys, this is when you're talking about an indictment, when you're talking about you're already in jail type deal. That's the Miller Act, the Miller Act bonds. The SF 23, was it 23, 24? No, 273, 274, and 275. Those are the bonds you want to go check out on that one. Now, I personally haven't used the 270, the 200 series of those bonds, the Miller Act bonds, because you got to be indicted or be in jail already. Or if you're dealing with some bonds or some contracts outside of that type of deal with court, then you use it for that. But the 200 series is when you're indicted or when you're already in jail. But the 24, 25, 25A is some little boys that you could do and bond up and discharge your court cases with that. This is not financial or legal advice. This is information. Consult your own dumbass counsel, right? This is easy to look up. That's why I say that. You go straight to the law library. Oh, hey, you can book, right? You can book your consultation with your boy. You know what I'm saying? Go to the Calendly or in YouTube. Go ahead on and check the link in the bio. Go look at the link in the bio to the Beacons page, and you can get with me on that. But again, so the court of record, properly served, publicly published, and filed. When we say filed, we're talking about a court case, and the way that you would file that is through first the registered mail process. You would insure it or bond it, same thing. Insure it, because when you insure it, that number becomes something that's bonded, and you can use that in court when you start to litigate, if you even need to get that far. But the affidavit is done through the registered mail. So again, the court of record is served, properly served, publicly published, and that's with a certified proof of service that you would get from the post office. You could even get one draft it up on your own, a certificate of service with a notary, with the contents in there, and then that works just the same. So, and filed in the court case where you would be able to take that registered mail, preferably registered mail, not certified mail, but registered mail, and then you would create that miscellaneous court file or whatever you're about to do when it comes to the litigation process for your particular administrative process. And remember, adjudication, the formulation of an order, right? Injunction. This is my favorite. When it comes, it's phenomenal to see a lot of the people getting hemmed up and things that happen, like compliance, conditionally accept. When we understand the terms of conditional acceptance and they don't provide proof, because we know they body cams recording, and they don't, the point is to put them in position to where they mess up, because they don't know the law. They think they know the law. They don't know the law. They know the penal code. And they have about the IQ of a secretary, and this is true. However, that's not the diss of secretary, because hell, right here, JCO, right? Go to Tri Brothers Outreach Inc., 501c3 nonprofit. I'm secretary of that. So that's neither here nor there, but I think you can get the point that they're not as smart as we think they are. So when we know that we could create an injunction, right, to do or cease doing the thing. And there are three types of injunctions: the permanent injunction, the temporary restraining injunction, and the preliminary injunction. The one that we want to mess with is the permanent injunction that would be drafted, especially if you're talking about being a state national and taking that life, because it's a lifestyle. Especially look on the back, on that, not on the back, on the front of the dollar, it says legal tender for all debts, public and private. So the state nationals would take place on the private side of things, and then you would have the U.S. citizen, the black, the African American is on the public side of things, you see. So that being black is an actual problem. It's a hindrance when you're black, because that's a generic term designating race, such as African American. That is not a nationality, that is a race. So when you create an injunction, you're not creating the injunction as a U.S. citizen, you're creating the injunction as a non-citizen national, okay? And in your respective area geographically where you are, for me, South Houston, the Opelousas area, Louisiana, so the Opelousas tribe, okay? There's neighboring tribes, the Atacapa and the Chitimacha. So for me, my blood right heritage is with the Opelousas tribe. However, when it comes to the political status, it would be the non-citizen national, all right? The nationality would be Paleo-American Aborigine. Malcolm X talked about the Aborigine, okay? We need to know about that. So anyways, you're formulating that injunction, that court order to cease doing the thing. And the thing that you're formulating, that the court order through this injunction, is that they leave you the fuck alone. That's it. You have a right to ingress and regress unencumbered. However, when you're in your so-called motor vehicle, you're traveling and they say you're driving. Driving is a commercial term. So this is why if you're gonna have a driver's license, then yeah, that applies to you. However, the driver's license by law, you don't need, right? And that's in any state, unless you're gonna be transporting goods and services. That's the only time you really need a license. So the injunction can actually leverage towards your property, towards your cars, your clothes. Well, really, you don't want to take your clothes. That's what the trust is for. But the injunction will cover your car with the VIN number, license plate, or your private license plate, however you create it, and then your property, okay? When it comes to the legal description, and not just the legal description, the parcel number, all right? That takes it to a whole nother level, because legal description is the abstract. So, but anyways, not to get too deep into that, the injunction is your friend when you know how to use it, right? However, all roads lead to court. This is why we mention it. Notice of special appearance, because you only come to court in two ways. You either are doing a special appearance or a general appearance. Most people go to court with a general appearance and they get your ass caught up every time. However, when you go in special appearance and you give them notice and straight to the judge's chambers that you are coming in special appearance, that notifies them that you are challenging their jurisdiction. So they know who coming through the doors when you come. So gentleman gives notice. This is how you create equity. In order for one to get equity, one must do equity. So in equity, we're talking about, in this particular slide, FRSTGEN Deca, we talk about the shareholders' equity in a company. However, in law, equity is equity. And again, in order for one to get equity, one must do equity. So if there is a liability, then there must be a remedy by law that must be available. However, they don't have to make it available to you. They don't have to mark it and tell you exactly where it's at. It's on you to study and show yourself approved to gain your equity. And then once they actually do it, meaning violate you, and you know how to go and get equity, you use that refund velocity of money. We talked about the 13th phantom payment when it comes to the mortgage last week as an example of velocity of money. One thing that we're going to talk about tonight is it's phenomenal how our dollar, it's a new study. I told you guys about Claude Anderson and how many times our dollar goes through the community in previous videos. But the recent study that I just came across actually yesterday said that the Asian community, $1 in the Asian community floats in their community 29 days before it leaves out of the community. I think the next community was the Jewish community. Theirs was 19 days and then it's out their community. And when it came to so-called black folk, a whopping 6 hours. So that means that as soon as black folk get their check, it's going out of the community in 6 hours within getting the check on average. That's phenomenal. Whoever taking those stats, that is fucking phenomenal. Velocity of money. Once you get that money moving a certain way, run rate, getting enough money into an industry and out of an industry that equal your current income or exceed your current income. Another way to use the velocity of money and creating the run rate would be through a financial institution, a bank, educational institution, university, college, a health institution, a hospital, cancer research facility, what have you, charity. They're going to give forever to charity. So get enough money into a nonprofit. There's strategies and tactics. See, you got your 501c3s. Understand, man, please somebody write that shit down. I get tired of hearing people that say they know what they talk about, talking about 501, 5CO3, and they just know it's a 501c3, tax exempt organization. It's a nonprofit. Not all nonprofits are tax exempt. So 501c3, right? Now, then when you get deeper to it and creating the run rate velocity of money, when you're talking about creating an endowment, okay, that's why you'll see a building that says from, I think TSU, he took his money back, but had Tavis Smiley. It was the Tavis Smiley School of Communications because he gave TSU $1 million. So he gets to have his name on top of there, and all the students that pay tuition and enter into that program, he's going to get a percentage of that, or his family, however he has it structured. So an endowment. Get enough money into an industry and out of an industry that equals or exceeds your current income, run rate. That's what we focus on creating. We can do that individually or joint ventures. When you look at the mega corporations that run this country, okay, and yes, run this country, they do it through contract. They do it through joint ventures, right? So a joint venture, a combination of two or more parties that seek the development of a single enterprise or project for profit, sharing the risks associated with its development. The parties to the joint venture must be at least a combination of two natural persons or entities. There go that word again, that term, natural person. So let's break that down real quick. Again, Your level of jurisprudence is going to dictate the status of your jurisdiction. A natural person in jurisprudence, when it comes to the legal system, can be attached with duties and rights by any means whatsoever. A natural person. You see, on the birth certificate, you have that all cap letter, capitis diminutio maxima, that's on your birth certificate, on your license, that all capital letter representation of your name. That is an artificial person. That is an ens legis, a creature of state. Now, they say a natural person is a human being. A human being what? A man, a woman? No, that's not a human being. If you go in law, a human being, it says sea monster. Go to Black's Laws Dictionary, 4th edition. The earlier, the better. You'll see it says sea monster. So ens legis, creature of state, human being, sea monster, ens legis, creature of state. The creature of state is the artificial person. The artificial person gets life by way of the natural person. But the natural person is referred to in jurisprudence as the physical body. When we understand that we are souls that have a body, we're not the body. We are a soul that has a body. This is the vessel, the temple here, right? And if you don't think that you're a soul, the soul has no name. It's just like saying God. You can't give a name to that which is the omnipresent presence that is. So that's within you and us. Unless you're a soulless being, then you're a human being, a monster, because you have no soul. And apparently they got a lot of them running around on earth too. So let's not create joint ventures with soulless people, all right? So mastering our 5 key moves. We're in week 33, not 31, week 33. Let's remember the world releases on the money news, right? Russia and China are brewing up a challenge to dollar dominance by creating a new reserve currency. They're moving outside of what the IMF is talking about when it comes to the SDR. Special drawing rights. That's coming out of the IMF, the World Bank, and what have you. But the BRICS nations are trying to come together and do their own thing to allow their currency or that currency to be able to be purchase oil, you know, outside of the dollar, because the dollar, known as the petrodollar, is that number one. But now Dubai has officially said, and Saudi Arabia has officially said, that they're allowing oil to be purchased in whatever currency now. It's not just the dollar. So the petrodollar has fell off officially. And again, down here, Deca, the article to that, if you want to check it out, is there, hyperlinkable. Data is money. It can be leveraged and or sold for knowledge, okay? There's coming, and it's not to be no fear mongering, but it should be apparent to a lot of people what's coming. Food shortage, energy crisis, and the currency reset. Food shortage, energy crisis, and a currency reset. That's what's taking place right now. We know that this is happening, then we need to be positioning ourselves accordingly. Let's pay attention real quick, Deca.
I'm going to teach you something important about money using these pennies. Now, one stack of pennies weighs 314 and the other weighs 255 grams. Now, they're both stacks of 100 pennies each. Well, why does one stack weigh 59 grams more than the other? So let's take the lighter stack, take a penny, file it down, reveal a silver metal, which happens to be zinc. Let's take a penny from the other stack, file that down, which reveals a metal, which is copper. Now, pennies are supposed to be made out of copper, but why are they made out of zinc and plated copper? Let's find out. The price of zinc per pound is $1.45 US. The price of copper per pound is $3.74. Knowing that a pound is 453 grams, we plug in the numbers and we do cross multiplications to find out the actual value of the metal. What we find out is that a dollar's worth of pennies in copper is actually worth $2.59. That's why the Treasury decided to mint them out of zinc instead ever since 1982. The point of the story is that money's losing its value, but nobody wants you to know that, otherwise they wouldn't have covered up this penny that's made out of zinc until they make it look like it's copper. TracksNation.com for all your changes.
So, debased currency. When we start talking about real money versus paper money, okay? Dude is describing, that's a jeweler, when it comes to pennies, that a gram of pennies is worth $2 and some change, as opposed to a gram of today's pennies that's worth 82 cents because it's filled with zinc. You shave and scratch a penny down, that's zinc. You don't see more copper, okay? So the debasing of the currency has already taken place. Now they're creating an artificial supply and demand. Check this out. Or did I? There you go. Okay.
This is Vladimir Putin, who has started the war in Ukraine and pissed off every NATO member and verified blue check east of Moscow. But he's still smiling. And that's because despite being sanctioned by nearly every European and Western country, Russia's economy and currency is doing not that bad. At the onset of the war, Russia's currency, the ruble, initially plummeted against the US dollar. But now, the ruble is actually the strongest it's been in over 5 years. Partly thanks to the Russian central bank tying it back to the gold standard in response to being cut off from the global banking system. Sanctions have also boosted Russia's trade relations with China, with their oil and gas exports to China up 50% this year. There's all that, and the fact that Putin can look outside the Kremlin windows to see Europe and North America suffering the worst inflation in 40 years. So the question is, were all those sanctions the right approach, or do they only embolden Russia further at the expense of our economy?
Right. So, again, wealth, digital too. And I say digital too because what he's talking about in the title is, did Russia sanctions backfire on U.S.? Yes, they did. Because before the sanctions, YouTube, Russia 3 years ago created their digital token for their ruble 3 years ago. Okay? Before the sanctions really took place, Putin went on ahead and said, hey, we're going to go ahead on and go back on the gold standard on y'all ass. So now Russia is back on the gold standard, shipping oil to China while the European Union, the UK, is hurting for oil. And now the US got to send our diesel over there, but don't want to open up the spigots over here. And the currency has been debased. If you don't have, this is not financial advice. Seek your own dumbass certified licensed financial professional counsel. Okay. But I would take my dollars and get into tangible assets. Gold, silver, collectible art, collectible cars, jewelry, more importantly, life insurance. Because in the global currency reset, this is what's happening in 2008. It's happening now. But the thing that's different from the housing crisis in 2008 is that in 2008, there weren't a whole bunch of hedge funds buying up single family homes. So now there's a whole bunch of hedge funds buying up single family homes. There's a lot of foreclosures, pre-foreclosures about to hit the market. When you already have people that can't get in the house right now as is. So if you don't have people that's able to afford to be able to get into a single family home, right? And people are dealing with or looking at pre-foreclosure situations right now. And hedge funds are buying up all of the single family homes and foreclosures and all of that. Not banks, I said hedge funds. The banks are holding on to the foreclosures and the hedge funds are buying up said single family homes, all right? So that they could become perpetual landlords. The have and the have nots. So you got 3 years, YouTube. FRSTGEN Deca, we got 3 years to do one of two things. To get in position to get rich, or already be rich. If you're listening to this right now, and if YouTube, if you haven't shared it, you might want to share it and see if you feel like somebody you connected to this applies to, right? I know you wanted the chosen to do this. I ain't selling you shit. I'm giving you straight information you can go and verify for yourself. You can go and see and Google what is a natural person. And in relation to an artificial person. The knowledge will be opened up to you. You just got to knock for the motherfucker. But the game is to be sold, not told. Because guess what? I can lead you to all of the information. You can go on YouTube, University, and search all over the net for it. The Google got it. The most important shit ain't on Google. It's in the National Archives and in the law libraries. So it's up to you whether you're going to take this information and protect your family, protect yourself for what's about to come down with these so-called mandates. Remember, that's for U.S. citizens. If you haven't already done your affidavit, affidavit of corporate denial, corporate denial, Texas Rule Civil Procedure Rule 52. Understand that it's a union, the several states of the union. If it is in one state, it'll effectively be in all states. Okay? Through the counties. This is what we do. FRSTGEN Deca. So business at your speed. This is what I want. Y'all, okay, YouTube, you can check this out. I don't really fuck with dude. I think he's phenomenal marketer. We talking about Grant Cardone. Dude is dope. I don't fuck with him because I think he's a culture vulture. At the end of the day, his approach to real estate is just mind-boggling. So let's tap in real quick, Deca, because this is on Instagram. Business at your speed. He's talking about making money while you sleep. Go on IG, check it out. Business while you sleep. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, it should play. Let's see. Get y'all, like, write some shit down here, Deca.
You guys don't know what I do in the real estate?
It's 4 minutes.
Right? Oh my God, man. Okay. But this is why I don't buy houses. Okay.
Hey, and keep in mind, YouTube, the recession is happening. It's already here, YouTube. Keep that in mind. And what Grant Cardone, like I said, go on IG. It's earn money while, when you sleep. The channel I saw it on is Way to Millionaires. Way to Millionaires. You need to go see this. Like, he put down major game.
This is what Brandon would see this Facebook. Okay, this is my favorite topic in the universe. Because this is what allows me. This is what allows me to move. Okay, so when I take $15 million, okay, I buy $60 million worth of real estate. 15 million.
He said, YouTube, that he'll take $15 million, and go buy $1 billion worth of real estate.
Buy $60 million worth of real estate, okay? Okay. Well, and we
Hold on, I said that wrong, YouTube. I recant that. He said $15 million buys you $60 million in real estate.
I'm not buying $60 million deal, so I'll do $1 billion worth of real estate this year. Can y'all look at that number? Okay, this is what I'm gonna do this year.
He's saying what he's gonna do this year.
$300 million this year.
There you go.
And I'm gonna buy $1.2 million worth of real estate.
He said he's gonna take $300 million and buy $1.2 billion of real estate.
To me, it's a good deal.
And I'm only saying this because at the end of the day, he's saying 300 million. YouTube, you could do 30,000. If you're a single mother, hell, if you're a single father, hell, if you are a felon, you can go and get in the game, because all Grant Cardone do is buy apartment complexes. That's all he does. He buys a bunch of them. So let's keep going.
Become a billionaire. I can own control $1 billion worth of assets for $300 million. All I gotta do is figure out how to get $300 million. And then this is like, God, this is all the math I needed. I could have learned this in the 5th grade. I don't need any algebra, no trigonometry, calculus, don't need any of this. Multiplication. Leverage. $300 million worth of cash. Buys $1.2 million worth of real estate in America. Okay? That $300 million is going to pay me $18 million a year.
He's going to get $300 million, buy $1.2 billion worth of real estate, and it's going to cash flow him $1.8 million a year.
In cash flow. Is that right? I think that's right. I'm going to get paid $1.5 million every month to control $1.2 billion worth of real estate, okay? This is cash flow. Cash flow is what? It's freedom, baby. It's freedom. It's flow. It's current. It's a current currency. The word currency comes from current. You look it up in the dictionary. Current. It has to move. See, this right here, the 1.2 million is not moving.
Whoever is that in YouTube still here, tap in the chat. Subscribe. I want to tap in with you if you still here, because you've been here for a minute. I want to do something special for you.
Enjoy and appreciate.
We're looking for unusual activity. Okay, there's unusual activity going on right now. You see it every day if you're looking for it. People are moving out of New York. Entire companies are starting to move. New Jersey, they're complaining about it. Okay, they're pissed off as hell. The government, they changed the.
And one of the major cities that Grant Cardone has a lot of properties in is Houston, Texas.
Now, what's that called? Salt. So, used to mean that I paid 13% in California, and then I'm paying 48% in federal. I can take the 13 off the 48. Now it's not like that. Now it's 13 to 48, or 38 or 39, whatever. It's terrible.
Now he's talking about real people with real money problems when it comes to states and why people moving from like Jersey, New York, Cali, because on top of a 48% tax, a 30% tax, then they got to pay another 13% tax. You come to Texas or states like Florida, Texas, I think Nevada as well, New Mexico, that 13% and that corporate tax, luxury tax goes away. So a lot of people that have money or that are in a certain bracket where it's hurting them are moving, but certain people that's outside of that bracket, they're not being affected by it. And, and that's levels to that. So certain people that's making a certain amount of money that it's not affecting, staying where they are, what have you, because they're making the money. But the individuals that are not making that type of money outside of the bracket are the poor. And those are the ones who are actually taking the blow when it comes to not being able to work when it comes to the pandemic and such like that. So anyways, this is one of the reasons. So go look up this video.
$300 million cash, shit. It's worth less than 10 years from now. I believe this $300 million is worth less than 10 years.
And that's a good point he made there. The $300 million that he's using to buy or control $1.2 billion of real estate. If you hold that $300 million in cash, what you're going to do is just have it there. 10 years, 5 years from now, it's going to be depreciated completely, right? So if you take the 300 million, if you take the 30,000, the 300,000, hell, you take the 3,000 and you tie it up into a real estate deal, either through a REIT, a real estate investment trust, or an E-REIT, you could then leverage 3,000, get some residuals in a year. You have enough to go into the market yourself individually through your own LLC, get your own real estate transactions moving. Because I wouldn't say go to a single family home. I say go for an apartment complex, especially if you're a first time home buyer. Most people don't know you could take the first time home buyer program and go buy a multi-unit. Or not, when I say a multi-unit, a duplex, quadplex, you just got to stay in one of the units for 2 years. And when we say stay there, receive mails. If you understand what I'm saying.
You don't need another math class.
I see you, Drew. Appreciate you tapping in, homie. Filmmakers unite, homie.
Still in class. Where people live, okay, we don't buy any retail, nothing. No Macy's, no Bloomingdale's, maybe one day, but not today. These people have to have a place to live. When we buy this asset, it is cash flowing. We know it's going to make us 6% in the first year, 5 to 7%, somewhere in that range. We should be paid on that deal.
So a man with money is telling you that he's looking for 5 to 7% return on a deal that he put $300 million in. That's going on him controlling $1.2 billion worth of real estate. That's going to cash flow $1.8 billion a year. So that's 5 to 7% on his return. This is the math that he's breaking down. So, and when I say people with money, because this is how they think, people that's broke would look at a 5 to 7 percent return as like, oh man, that ain't nothing. It's like, well, that depends on how much that percentage is being applied to, 300 million or $300. You see what I'm saying? It's different. So my point is that if we could take what they're doing, people with money, and move how they move, success leaves clues, and position our cash into tangible assets, real estate, into other means of currency like credit, leverage it for loans, because you don't be taxed on credit or loans. You taxed on your taxable income. This is why everyone should have a consultation company, especially now that banks are opening up programs to lend to coaching programs so that more people, because see, they know jobs, man, I'm telling you, they know what's coming. It's coming. Unemployment is about to go through the wazoo. And if you don't have a certain skill set, certain type of training, you're going to be either looking for another job, waiting for them to give you universal basic income or some STEMI. Now, if you get the STEMI, whatever income that you might receive from it, go ahead on and invest in yourself, in your skill set, because that's the new drip. The new drip going forward, like I said, get positioned or be positioned by 2025. Get positioned or be positioned by 2025. Get positioned in 2022 because the recession is going to be from 2023, 2024, and 2025 is probably, I ain't saying probably, 2025 is when the flip is going to happen with the currency. So, and that's if Mr. Biden is surviving this shit and Miss Harris don't take over. You feel me? But let's move on to the next slide. Y'all get the point there, Deca. Damn, did the computer go to sleep on me? Oh, that's right. I'm not in that no more. Guess who's busy? So yeah, go check that out. You can click there in the slide. So we're doing this again so that we can reason with truth and respond with ability. We want to respond with ability, be responsible, responsibility, and be reasonable. Reason with truth. The 5 principles of law, the contract law, tax law, trust law, commercial law, and general accepted accounting practices. As business owners, as merchants, as artisans that we count and make our own money, we need to know these aspects of law, right? We're mastering the art of knowing. As we said earlier, we was going to hit strategy and tactic and knowing the difference. Strategy, simply put, the action plan. Strategy is the plan that takes you where you want to go. The tactic be the individual steps and the actions that will get you there. Repeat that. Strategy, the action plan that takes you where you want to go. The plan, tactic, the individual steps and actions that will get you there. Our strategy, the 4 offers to grow your business. Lead generation, your core product, your customer ascension, your customer retention. YouTube, this is what we like to do, especially when we have a lot of entrepreneurs in FRSTGEN Deca, where they have their funnels, they have their landing pages, they have their YouTube channels like you're on this one, where we open up our awareness, our expertise to a particular demographic that may be willing to go through and get the lead generation offer. That's either for free, whatever it be, an infographic, or take this survey, whatever it is you're giving away for free or for cheap, all right? To get the person to become aware of what you're doing about your core product or service. The way to riches the fastest today in e-commerce is a digital product or a digital service, okay? So your customer ascension, once you get them into the digital product, service, or whatever you're doing, how do you ascend them up to a VIP level or what have you? The game is to be sold, not told, okay? If you have what you have and it's some good shit, then supply and demand come in effect. And if they want more of you, then you have to get what your worth of your hire, right? So the maxim of law, every man is worthy of his hire. Ascended. If I can get you 25,000, then what after that? You couldn't get the 25,000 yourself. I showed you how to get 25,000. So let's ascend up real quick. I'm about to show you how to get 100,000. Once I show you how to get 100,000, we're going to retain you. How do I retain you? How many people? I mean, think about it. There's a lot of people that sit back and do what? Buy stuff over and over and over again from different brands, music, I know some people that won't buy a certain pair of drawers from a company, right? I feel you. I only smoke a certain type of blunt. I'm not going to name it because it ain't sponsorship money yet. However, you'll see later. Your customer retention. However, no matter if it's your customer or a client, no matter what industry, however you're servicing, you got to tell a story that relates to the people. Your story and what you went through in your life experience is relatable to someone. However, if they don't know about you, they'll never be able to connect with you. So, somebody out there needs your expertise. You have to position yourself to get in front of them. You have to step out and get out of here. You have some type of value. However, you need a mentor. You need a coach, a consultant, someone that has done what you're doing. This is why they say skill sets is what the Trump administration put in, and the Biden administration didn't do nothing with it to say, hey, look, now we're going to overwrite that. No, skills. Skills are more important moving forward today and moving forward than having a degree. I know people right now that's a part of class action lawsuits because their degrees are worthless now because that university doesn't exist anymore. They lost their accreditations. So it's like, bro, you better hope you came from a school that has some type of money that they could last a couple years. Because if not, your degree might be worthless depending on what school you came from. Real talk. So, skills. Getting on these skills. The 3 millionaire secrets. Write this down, YouTube. The 3 millionaire secrets. This is to speed up wealth creation. Okay? If you want to speed up wealth creation, you want to have a product. 1,000-fold your return with a digital product. Step up your game again with a digital product. All right? The 3 C's. Create, connect, contribute. Create, connect, contribute. Create solution for someone's problem. Connect with someone's problem. Contribute to resolving someone's problem. Okay? The 3 millionaire secrets. So if you can have a digital product that you could create, that's a solution to someone's problem, and you can connect with them, then you can contribute with them. This is why we say, get your YouTube channel up. Get with me, get with somebody, find somebody that you could consult with to help you master your plan. I don't have the funds, I don't have the money. We show you how. This is what Bummy Collective Business Money Mindset Yearly Collective Podcast is about on iHeartRadio and Anchor, where we start teaching different awareness on that, or not teaching, but definitely spreading the awareness about how you can go think outside the loop to get funded. I know creatives are always looking to have a project funded. Always. Did my light just go out? Ain't that a bitch? The light just went out on me, y'all. Ain't that? But I kind of like that. It's like film noir. It makes that pop out a little bit more right there. Shout out to the Southeast Texas Hurricanes and the Houston, who is that? World Fest over there. Yeah, and the Gamble Classic. Anyway, y'all saw that? Shout out to Ike and Labs. But anyways, I'm talking too much, I guess. Connect, create, connect, contribute. The 3 C's, the 3 millionaire secrets. Yeah. So, again, true wealth is held in tangible assets. Real money, paper money, digital money. Again, real money. Gold, silver, platinum. Diamonds, collectible art, collectible cars. Paper money. Federal Reserve notes. The ruble. Life insurance policies. It's paper money. Okay? If you could take your paper money, Federal Reserve notes, max fund your life insurance policy, you've protected that principle. You need to use it, get a loan against it. That's going. If they do it one more time, I'm gonna tell you because I like the film noir right there. I like that. Anyways, so and Deca, what's going on? My light keep flickering over here for some reason. I don't know, but it's sexy though. It's sexy. Anyway. So the real estate investment trust. I'm gonna make this slide available in FRSTGEN Millionaires. I'm gonna also on Facebook, and I'm gonna also put this in the FRSTGEN Telegram, where, well, you know what, you won't be able to hyperlink, it won't be hyperlinkable. Anyways, you can still go and tap in and research that real estate investment trust, REIT, and then the E-REIT. And I told you guys about Funderize a couple weeks ago. I just joined that one, which is an E-REIT. Like I said, it is electronic, or like your what's the other one? Your other real estate investment trust. Like, it has aspects of tying to the stock market and what you call that thing, man? The stock market and hedge funds. Hedge funds, yeah. So that's what most real estate investment trusts are tied to, is stock market and hedge funds, you know, not only just, you know, the real estate market itself. But the E-REIT is tied to a level of liquidity that real estate investment trusts don't have access to, because they're leveraging the liquidity faster, right? Where the average real estate investment trust is going to bring a return of maybe 7%. The E-REIT can do and has done as high as 22%. Okay, so Funderize, Fundrise. I would say look into that. It's real easy. You can start with $10. You can start with $10, and on average, they're getting about 22.9. Man, this light is getting on my nerves, man. So let's spotlight Deca, Union Black. Get your seaweed. It go live. That's in the health realm with FRSTGEN Deca member Joy.
You mean CMOS, right?
What I said? What I said?
No, not seaweed, CMOS.
I said seaweed? Damn, sea moss. Yeah. Oh, it's because I'm looking at the weed, maybe. But anyway, thank you for that correction right there. Hey, YouTube, not seaweed, sea moss, the Union Black, sea moss. Google that, go check it out right there, Union Black. My bad, Joy. And here she go, the legacy building lady.
The power of collaboration. And I think the people that need to hear it heard it, and it made the necessary impact. So I was grateful to have someone like my business partner in my circle who can really look at me and say, like, hey, you might be tripping a little bit, go ahead and do it, or encourage me. And me doing my best to overcome my own self and just get out of my own way and focus on teaching me that I can help. I went ahead and proceeded, and I'm grateful that I did.
Legacy building lady doing her thing on the wealth side, Ash L, when we start talking about the insurance side of things, as well as your correct me, the astrological readings when it comes to the north nodes and stuff, or is that cosmological readings? You need to go holler at her. She did my north node reading. I was like, damn. So yeah, the legacy building lady, you might want to tap in with it and get that. I was very clear when it came to that. So the private Telegram group this Sunday, 12 noon Central Standard Time, the collab talk. As we talk about collaborations, collaborating is what's going to take us to the next level in each one of our businesses. Okay, in each one of our businesses. So let's tap in on the collab talk. What's growing, what's shaking, what's popping, because we're having these type of successes. We, shout out, to Meezy again. After talking with him in his private one-on-one, he hit me with the his credit score, and he actually made an increase to pay down his debt to income ratio with a balance transfer. He actually did the art of the balance transfer and dropped his utilization down to 10%, then points to his credit score went up, and that's what opened up potentially the door for another $20,000 here. So it's like, it's the simple little things that could be done, to take your game to an entirely different level. So the practical strategies and tactics, and this is what some of the things we talk about on moving together when it comes to the Age Corporation. So remember, FRSTGEN Deca, if you got Any info, updates, queries, referrals, send them over here. Or info@FRSTGEN.online. Info@FRSTGEN.online. All right, send them there. Hey, YouTube, I appreciate y'all coming through. I hope y'all actually tap in, because we're going to end it right now. Is this part right here. This is the quarter record. And if y'all want to see that, go back to First Gen Deca 2, because we went through that. So appreciate y'all.